All right, I just got home from seeing No Time to Die. It's about 10:30 at night. I could not wait to give you my thoughts on this movie. So I'm gonna keep it spoiler-free up to a certain point. I was gonna do a full spoiler-free review, but I gotta talk about how this movie developed. So we'll get to that point. I'll give you a fair warning when the spoilers are gonna happen, but let's just talk generally at first. So I will say going into this, I was not looking forward to this at all. Look, Casino Royale was fantastic. Quantum of Solace was terrible. Skyfall, amazing. Spectre, terrible. And Spectre, I thought, really wrapped up Daniel Craig as James Bond. When I saw that movie, I thought, oh, there's no way Daniel Craig is going to come back because that wrapped up his story as James Bond. Then we found out he was coming back, and that was right around the time we really were talking about Idris Elba being James Bond. So that wasn't going to happen for at least another movie. So I was not that interested in seeing Daniel Craig back as James Bond. Of course, this movie then got delayed for a year and a half being released, and so it just seemed more out of touch with the times that's going to come out in late 2021. So going into this, was not that excited to see this at all. Boy, was I wrong. This is absolutely a fantastic movie. It is funny, the pattern that I just said with the James Bond movies that Daniel Craig has done, like Casino Royale, fantastic. Quantum of Solace, terrible. Skyfall, amazing. Spectre, terrible. Redeemed itself in the end. Another amazing movie with No Time to Die. First, I got to give a shout out to Cary Fukunaga, who directs the heck out of this movie. The action sequences are spectacular. Where he puts his camera, he's having so much fun. It reminds me of Spielberg at his best. It reminds me of J.J. Abrams, guys that are just having fun. They're so confident in their ability to direct that they just have fun with it. And that's what Cary does in this movie. Like, there's one moment in the movie where Daniel Craig is engaged in a hand-to-hand combat with someone. He's kind of wrestling with someone, and they actually hit the cameraman. It's a really cool moment. So the camera kind of goes a little crazy too. That's like this, it's really kind of this gritty style and just, yeah, like I said, just fun. It's exciting to see these action sequences. So he brings so much life, so much fresh energy to this movie. Some great moments with some of the actors here. So Ana de Armas is fantastic in her role. I don't really want to get into how big people's roles are, how small people's roles are, because I really want you to go into this not knowing what to expect on a certain level. She is fantastic. Lashana Lynch, of course, there's a lot of talk of her being the new 007. She's great as well. I will say I wanted more of her. That she's established as being a new 00, but the moments that she is in throughout this movie, you don't really get to see her skill as a 00. I mean, she has to be a certain level, right? She has to be as good as James Bond, and we don't see that enough. She's kind of sidelined a lot of the time, so I wanted to see more with her. I will say I'd be really pissed off if I was Naomi Harris. Naomi Harris has been fantastic in these movies as Moneypenny. And I know she even pitched doing some kind of spin-off with Moneypenny, and that was turned down. The fact that she didn't get to expand on her role is really disappointing. And one of the things that No Time to Die does is tie back to the earlier films. We really saw this start to happen with Skyfall, right? Like, that's where it really gutted audiences, when we saw the death of Judi Dench as M. Like, we've never really seen that in a James Bond movie before, because they've been very cartoonish in that they pretty much reset themselves every single film, right? Like, the characters don't really carry over to multiple movies, but they really changed that with Skyfall, and they really do that again here. Of course, yeah, we know that Christoph Waltz is back, and Leah Seydoux is back as Madeline. I will say I did not enjoy her at all in Spectre. I thought she was very bland. I thought they could have got an actress that was just more charismatic. So I was disappointed that she is back in this. It's a shame that her story continued, but she doesn't deter from the movie in any kind of way. But I will say the female characters in this movie really get to hold their own. Like, we think back of the old Bond girls, as they used to be called, where they're just kind of eye candy. We've come a long way, which is very nice to see. And I know we want to see more progression in this series, and it is addressed in this movie, which I was very happy to see. I will say also as well, before I go on to spoilers, Rami Malek is solid here. He barely registers, which is really funny. Not that he's a poor Bond villain, there's just so much more going on in this movie beyond him as a villain, who's just kind of a typical villain. I want to kill a bunch of people. There's a lot more interesting things going on in this movie beyond Rami Malek, so he's solid. He just doesn't register that much. But yeah, but I will say No Time to Die, fantastic movie. Go see it. Now we're going to get the spoilers. I'll give you a few seconds. If you want to turn it off now, we're going to jump right to the spoilers. James Bond is dead. I found it so powerful to watch James Bond die. I actually got really, really choked up. I even, like, again, getting a little bit choked up thinking about it. It was just a perfect way to signal that times are changing. And in a way, I have a lot of respect for Daniel Craig doing this. I know he was a co-producer on this as well. Like I said, I didn't really want him coming back as James Bond. I want something new, I want something fresh, I want something exciting, and Daniel Craig was back. So I like that he did this. Not that it was his choice completely, but I like that they killed James Bond. That there is no doubt now that we are moving on to something different. And I think why I got choked up, you just think about the history of James Bond and all these actors who have played them, and they've been great. Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore. But it's time for something new. The time for James Bond, the straight white man, it's over. And it's time for something more dynamic and interesting. So I love that they killed him. I found it very powerful that they killed him. And I think they needed to kill him. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Like I said, I don't think they let Lashana Lynch do enough to establish herself as the new lead of this franchise. I think if they were going to do that, she would have been in the movie more. And like I said, Naomi Harris really got screwed in the situation. I think Naomi Harris could have taken it over no problem. Possibility is it's going to be like James Bond's daughter becomes the new 007. Is the series going to flash forward, 20 years? I don't know. That's a possibility. But I know Barbara Bockley, the producer, has been against making James Bond a woman, that a female could have her own character. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the series goes. But yes, it's a weird thing to say, but I love the ending. I love that they killed James Bond. It brought some real finality to it. And yeah, in 2021, it was really powerful to see that we are going to move into a new age of whatever this series becomes, whatever this 00 series becomes, that we'll see better representation. We won't have females just being, eye candy in the movie, and that's what we see in No Time to Die so significantly. I still did find Leah Seydoux' character I know she did kind of help herself out in certain circumstances, but I still found she was a little weak for my taste. Like Lashana Lynch and Naomi Harris and Ana de Armas were so strong that Leah Seydoux just didn't work for me. But yeah, we'll see where this series goes. But man, it was really powerful to see that ending. I want to hear all your thoughts about this movie.